Joining us now is someone who knows exactly what Griner is facing right now, one of the few people, Trevor Reed. He returned to the United States in April after being imprisoned in Russia for almost 3 years. Trevor, thanks for being with us this morning.
Sure, thanks for having me.
Were you at all surprised by this sentence when you heard the amount of time?
No, absolutely not. I was expecting them to give her, the maximum or close to the maximum, which is what they did.
Does it feel like what happened to you?
Yeah, absolutely. So, for Brittany's, classification of crime, which actually I don't think should even be under that classification, but they have, I believe it's 0 to 10 years, and they gave her 9. So people in Russia who are convicted and sentenced under that article in the Russian Federation usually receive about a year, 2 years maybe. 9 is unheard of. I never saw that the entire time I was there. And as well as in my case, I received 9, and that was actually the largest sentence ever handed down for that criminal article in Russia ever. So, yeah, I wasn't surprised by that. And, regardless of how you feel about Brittany Griner's case, that sentence is clearly political. There's no denying that.
Logistically, Trevor, walk us through what happens now for her because you've been through this. What, you know, as she's transported, as she arrives wherever she may be.
Yeah, so once you're convicted in Russian court, you do have a chance to go to appeals and appeal that decision to another kangaroo court in Moscow. So after that trial, depending on Brittany's decision on whether she wants to appeal or not, she may stay in Moscow at the detention facility that she's already at until her appeals are completed, or if she chooses not to go to appeals, they may transfer her to a forced labor camp. And considering the fact that the Russian government is considering exchanging her, they may also decide to leave her in Moscow to make it easier for her to be returned to the United States.
Because in your case, where you were was several hours from Moscow, right? Describe for us what that prison was like or that forced labor camp was like.
Yeah, food there is terrible. Sometimes that could be just some fish bones or broth of fish bones. Potato soup with it's mostly water. There's feral cats that wander around there on the prison grounds, on the prison compound, dilapidated buildings. Solitary confinement there is basically consists of just a concrete room with a hole in the floor for a toilet. Just really middle-aged looking stuff.
And look, we were talking when you were there with your parents, they were so worried about your health. You understand why when you describe the conditions. Are you worried about her health? Are you worried about her safety?
Yeah, sure. Anyone who is in a forced labor camp in Russia is obviously, facing serious threats to their health because of malnutrition. There's little to no medical attention there whatsoever. Tuberculosis runs rampant in Russian prisons. There's diseases that they have there in Russia which are largely extinct in the United States now. So it's definitely a concern for her health. Paul Whelan
Yeah.
obviously has been in a forced labor camp for a very long time. It's definitely a dangerous place to be.
What are your worries for them, Trevor, for Brittany and for Paul?
Um, I mean, right now I'm trying not to focus on that. I'm hoping that there will be an exchange that we're able to get them home. So I'm hoping for the best in that.
I think we're all hoping for that, Trevor. Thank you so much, as always, for talking to us. I know it must be tough talking about your experience, but you're always willing to do it, as you try to raise awareness for Brittany Griner and for Paul and for other detained Americans, and we appreciate it. Thank you.